Hey, what's up, you beautiful people? Today we're diving into some shocking and disturbing facts about Sean Diddy Combs' trial and the jury selection process. Buckle up, because this is going to be a wild ride. We're talking about one of the biggest names in music facing serious charges, a media circus surrounding the case, and a jury selection process that had everyone on the edge of their seats. If you're new to this story, or even if you think you know it all, get ready for some serious jaw drops as we uncover the truth behind Diddy's trial. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. Alright, so let's rewind back to December 1999. Diddy, along with his then-girlfriend Jennifer Lopez, were at a club in New York City when gunshots erupted. Now, we're not talking about some small-town bar fight here. This was Club New York, a hotspot in Manhattan. Diddy was charged with attempted murder, assault, and several other weapons charges. We're talking serious allegations. Think about it. This is Diddy at the height of his career. Bad Boy Records is killing it. He's got hits on hits, and boom, this whole thing goes down. The charges were no joke. Attempted murder? That could have meant decades behind bars. The prosecution claimed Diddy fired a weapon during the altercation, and obviously his defense team denied it. This is where it gets really interesting and where the whole Diddy's gonna get railroaded narrative started to gain traction. This wasn't just some local news story, guys. This was Diddy, one of the most recognizable faces in music, facing life-altering charges. The media went absolutely insane. We're talking cameras everywhere, reporters camped outside the courthouse, and non-stop coverage on every channel. You couldn't escape it. It was on the front page of every newspaper, the lead story on every news program, and the hottest topic on every radio show. The pressure was on, and the public was forming opinions based on every leaked detail, every rumor, every speculation. It was a full-blown media circus, and Diddy was at the center of it all. Now let's talk about the jury selection, because this is where things get really wild. Finding an unbiased jury in a case this high profile, nearly impossible, right? The defense and the prosecution were basically playing a game of chess, each side trying to select jurors who they thought would be sympathetic to their case. It was intense. Potential jurors were grilled on their knowledge of the case, their opinions on hip-hop culture, even their personal feelings about Diddy and his music. It was clear that both sides knew how crucial the jury selection process was. Okay, so remember how I said finding an unbiased jury would be nearly impossible? Well, it turned out to be even harder than anyone imagined. There were accusations of racial bias, with some arguing that the prosecution was trying to stack the jury with people who would be more likely to convict a black celebrity. Then there were whispers about jurors being dismissed for the flimsiest of reasons, like one potential juror who got the boot because they were a fan of Diddy's music. Seriously, it felt like every decision, every move made during the selection process was scrutinized and debated. Was it really possible to find 12 people who could put aside all the noise, all the preconceived notions, and judge the case solely on the evidence? Alright, so we've got Diddy facing serious charges, a media frenzy surrounding the whole thing, and a jury selection process that was more intense than a game of high-stakes poker. Now, let's talk about the key witnesses who took the stand, because their testimonies could have sent Diddy to prison, or set him free. One of the most crucial witnesses was, of course, Jennifer Lopez. She was with Diddy at the club that night, and her testimony was highly anticipated. Remember, this was J-Lo at the peak of her own career, and her involvement in the case only added fuel to the media firestorm. The prosecution was hoping she would provide incriminating evidence against Diddy, while the defense was banking on her testimony to help clear his name. Now, you don't bring in high-powered lawyers unless you're serious about fighting these charges, and Diddy's legal team was top-notch. They were known for their aggressive defense tactics, and they didn't disappoint. They challenged every piece of evidence presented by the prosecution, cross-examined witnesses relentlessly, and used every trick in the book to try and poke holes in the prosecution's case. One of their main strategies was to paint a picture of chaos and confusion at the club that night. They argued that it was impossible to determine who fired the gun in the midst of all the commotion. They also suggested that Diddy was being unfairly targeted because of his fame and fortune. The public was completely divided. Some people believed Diddy was guilty, pointing to his past run-ins with the law and his image as a tough-talking rapper. Others were convinced he was innocent, arguing that he was a victim of circumstance and that the charges were exaggerated. Social media, as you can imagine, was a war zone. People were picking sides, arguing with each other, and dissecting every detail of the case. It was a constant back and forth, with opinions shifting with every new development. The trial became a cultural touchstone, sparking conversations about race, celebrity, and the criminal justice system. This trial had more twists and turns than a Hollywood thriller. One minute, it seemed like the prosecution had the upper hand, presenting what appeared to be damning evidence. The next minute, Diddy's lawyers would pull out a surprise witness, or expose a flaw in the prosecution's case, completely changing the narrative. There was one moment in particular that left everyone speechless. A witness for the prosecution, someone who was supposed to testify against Diddy, completely changed their story on the stand. They recanted their previous statements, throwing the entire courtroom into disarray. It was a shocking turn of events that no one saw coming. After weeks of testimony, intense cross-examinations, and more plot twists than a season of Law and Order, the case finally went to the jury. The tension was palpable as everyone waited with bated breath for the verdict. Would Diddy walk free, or would he be facing serious prison time? The jury deliberated for days, carefully considering all the evidence and testimony they had heard. The pressure was immense, as their decision would have a profound impact on Diddy's life and legacy. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, they reached a verdict. The jury found Diddy not guilty on all charges. The courtroom erupted in cheers from Diddy's supporters, while the prosecution was left stunned. After months of intense scrutiny, legal battles, and public speculation, Diddy was a free man. But the trial had a lasting impact on his life and career. He spoke openly about the emotional toll it had taken on him, the damage it had done to his reputation, and the lessons he had learned. He vowed to use his platform to advocate for criminal justice reform and to help others who had been unfairly targeted by the system. And there you have it, folks. Those were the top 10 disturbing facts about Sean Diddy Combs' trial and jury selection. We dove into the charges, the media frenzy, the jury selection process, the unexpected moments, and the final verdict. This case wasn't just about a celebrity on trial, it was a stark reminder of the power of the media, the complexities of the justice system, and the importance of fairness and due process. Diddy's trial continues to be a topic of discussion even today, prompting important conversations about race, celebrity, and the presumption of innocence. Let us know in the comments what you think about the case and if there are any other trials you'd like us to cover. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. Stay awesome, and I'll see you in the next video.